Hello, everyone. Welcome to season three, episode one. We're finally in season three. I had a whole video detailing the off season and running through it, and then I realized that I hit mute halfway through, and it didn't capture most of the audio. So we had a whole plan for the off season. We got through spring training, and we're at opening day. So I had a plan not to do too much for this upcoming season that we're heading into 2025. I had a good plan, not to change a whole lot of the team. A lot of contract extensions, only one free agent signing. There are a few minor league signings to fill out the AAA depth. Not a whole lot of trades. I think we made one Rule 5 pick, and the lineup is pretty much exactly the same. It's different in the sense that we are a little bit more strict with our platoons this season, but that's the only really significant difference. So let's hit pitching staff first because that's just chronologically what I tend to do. So Shohei is our number one for the foreseeable future. We re-signed Zach Wheeler. This was like difficult contract extension talks with him. I wanted to only go like two. He wanted four. Eventually, he got angry, and I just figured having Zach Wheeler at this deal was better than not having Zach. So we signed him for a 4-year, $117 million deal. It's heavily front loaded, kind of like the Verlander and Scherzer deals were. Scherzer retired, and Verlander we did not offer a contract to for this upcoming season. I don't know if he signed. We're gonna check that in a minute. But he's making $40 million this year, 40 the next, and then his age 37 year, we got him at 18, and then he's got a player option for 18. So we have him locked in for 4 more years, and these 18 are just below qualifying offer anyway. So I think I'm happy with this deal for him. He could tail off, totally could. It's possible, but I think it's a good risk to take. Quintana, we also signed to a contract extension, a little bit more pricey than I would have wanted, but a 3-year, $53 million deal. That takes him through his age 38 season, so he'll probably at this point he'll probably tail off, and we'll have to probably shift him to the bullpen, DFA, something like that. But if we get good value in the front end this season and maybe even next, then that last season we'll deal with. Senga's our number 5 starter. He's tailed off. He's angry about his performance, expectedly so. He was not good in spring training. He was not good last season. He was just not a good pitcher. And this has been a pretty big disappointment. And truthfully, if we get another season like this and he doesn't opt out, we're going to look to deal him in the offseason, maybe even the trade deadline. And Bassett has won our number 5 starter. A lot of it because he's free. And that was really the main deciding factor for me. And he doesn't have options. David Peterson's our long relief guy, emergency starter in the bullpen. Yoendris Gomez and Tyler McGill are our middle relievers. Again, McGill did not have a good season last year, so I think we're going to take the pressure off a little bit and just look to get him going in that middle relief role. This is a Rule 5 pick, Jamie Melendez from Kansas City. This changeup looks special. We see all the time about changeups not developing, but his changeup is his most developed pitched. Again, I have a fetish apparently for guys with low control, but they've tended to do pretty well in the last few years for me. Scoreless Spring is also really nice, so I didn't really want to give him up. We traded. I don't know if we did this in the last episode or not, but we traded for Raisel Iglesias. We got the Braves to retain a bunch of money, so we have him in the back end of our bullpen. The team that knocked us out gave us their star closer. I guess that makes sense. Morejon in the setup role. He will also be a really good pitcher for us. Also a really good spring. Camilo Doval and Garrett Crochet as our 2 high leverage arms, and then Edwin Diaz closing the door. So I'm excited for how this bullpen is going to turn out because the starting rotation doesn't look as strong as I think it did the last couple seasons. Senga's a question mark. Bassett's a question mark. But luckily, down to AAA, we have a few guys ready to step up. Calvin Ziegler is really popping as a prospect, and truthfully, if he had a better season at AAA last year, he'd probably be at least in the bullpen and maybe even the rotation this season. Matt Allen, same deal. He's not happy he's in AAA, but if you pitched better in spring, it would have been a tougher decision. Mackenzie Gore, also in AAA, also had a terrible season last season. I wouldn't say terrible, but not great. So these are three guys that, I think we can have a really short leash with Bassett and Senga and any of these guys in the bullpen because we have, three guys, 4 or 5 guys. Like, all of these dudes can come up and make starts for us this season. Santos, he was the guy that got 2 in the third and then got hurt. So he was a bullpen piece last season. I think it just optioned right to AAA. What are your ratings look like? Yeah, so he'll be fine. And then these 3 pitching prospects are good. They're going to be fine. So we got guys knocking on the door. At the major league level, at the lineup, let's go through this real quick. Kevin Barada is going to be our backup catcher. He hit well enough. His defense is not great, but that's going to go up. And he can play first and left and right. And he's probably going to be okay at third if I throw him there, and second if I throw him there. He's playable at those positions, I think. So top prospect, Kevin Parada, is our backup catcher. Alvarez will have the starting duties, I think, for now, right? Theoretically, if we get a better catcher, we could move him around, but we need him to hit this year. We really need him to hit. Shohei at DH, Pete at first, no questions here. William Lugo had a great spring, and he's very versatile, so he's going to be our main bench bat. Mark Vientos is going to play a lot, and the reason he's going to play a lot is he's going to be backing up Pete at first. When Pete's tired, he's going to back up Beatty at third, and he plays every third game in the corners against righties. Marte's getting old. His ratings have dipped. I don't think I trust him anymore, and he's an expiring deal. So Vientos could push him out for playing time, and kind of similar deal with Nimmo. Nimmo had such a terrible season last year, and even his batting average is low. His slugging was really low in spring. So he's a guy who theoretically it's possible that he doesn't live up to the contract. And if that's the case, then Vientos is going to push him for some playing time as well. So we're going to start playing him a lot in the corner outfield spots. These ratings are not great, but he'll be better as he plays more. So that way we get his bat in the lineup often. Beatty at third. No questions here. Really good third baseman. He had a good season last year. So he's pretty much, written in Sharpie playing third for now. Jeff McNeil playing second. Similar deal with him. He had a great spring. And you can see these guys came into spring angry. They were not happy with how they played last year, rightfully so. So he's going to be our second baseman against righties. And then Ciani in center is just pretty much a necessity with his defense. So that's against righties. Mason Wynn backing up in the middle of infield. He'll play some second, third, short. He might play some corner outfield. He can pretty much play everywhere on the diamond, which is nice. Except catcher, but that's okay. After the rookie year he had, I kind of need him up at the major league level. He was really, really good for us. Now the question is, what happens against lefties? Against lefties, Jeff McNeil gets bumped to the bench. He will play a lot of second against lefties, but Mason Wynn is our primary starter against lefties. Jeff will back up everywhere, first, second, third, DH, and he should be playing some outfield as well. And Nimmo, we're not playing against lefties either. I want to try and get them going in the early part of the year. I think that not playing them against lefties might actually give them a bump. So we're going to have Vientos in left against lefties and Mason Wynn at second against lefties. So these guys, these older guys, they might... here, let's actually bump that. They might get a bump not facing the more difficult of the pitchers for them to hit. And then Marte is going to also not play so much against lefties either, and Nimmo gets to play a little bit more. So we're just trying to eliminate those issues and maybe get some guys playing time that might not normally get as much playing time. So I think that's what we're looking at. Marte is going to probably lead off. I think his on base has been really good the last few seasons. Lindor, Otani, Pete, Beatty, Alvarez, Vientos. These guys can theoretically all switch around between Wynn, Vientos, and Alvarez. I just am more partial to Alvarez, and I think he'll probably hit better than he did last season. Siani and Wynn. And then against righties, Nimmo, Lindor, Otani, Pete, Jeff, Beatty, Alvarez, Yanni Marte. Again, Marte and Alvarez are switchable, but I think Marte is like a good, like quote unquote, second leadoff hitter in the 9-hole. And then that way, I'm of the opinion with traditional batting lineups that moving your worst hitter to the 8-hole is not a. I don't think it shrinks the lineup. I think it lengthens it because you get this guy out of the way a little earlier. So that way, Marte theoretically can shift Lindor down to that like 3-hole and Otani. So I think that actually lengthens it, getting him out of the way a little bit earlier, but like not 7th. That doesn't do anything for you because your 6 hitter is still really good. Your 5 hitter is still really good. So that's the team down in AAA. What would you do? AAA manager. Austin Hedges has returned on a minor league contract. I don't really know how happy he is about that. But I think he's going to have to be on the 40-man if I have space because I don't have a backup catcher, a third-string catcher on the 40-man right now. A lot of guys who are potential trade bait, I guess, in AAA right now. Profar, Jorge Polanco, Kyle Farmer, Nick Ahmed took a minor league contract, so he's going to be useful if Lindor has to go down. He does have a concussion, but this is a video game, so he's going to be playing. Ian Happ took a minor league contract. Alex Ramirez, top prospect, will be playing center. Jonathan Daza and Marcano on a minor league deal. So a lot of these guys came back on minor league deals. If you see Jackie Bradley Jr., Michael Conforto, Ruben Tejada, a lot of the, Mike Zunino, a lot of these guys could be trade bait if teams need reinforcements or if I need reinforcements. My one main complaint is Ronnie Mauricio should probably be starting somewhere. I guess bump Ian Happ. He had a decent spring. He just was a product of the roster crunch. Who got Jorge Polanco? That's fine. Okay. Product of the roster crunch. Maybe we should play you at center, get you some experience there. It's not like I really would do it, but it can't hurt because he's got ratings everywhere else. And he's a captain, so I think he might actually play better this season. But we're looking at Alex Ramirez to be that future outfield stud. But he might be blocked because I buried the lead a little bit. If we go to our injured list, my one big free agent signing was Young Ho Lee from the KBO. These batting ratings are out of this world. He's insane. And he hedges against Nimmo and Marte regressing really hard. We gave him a 10-year, $319 million contract. He's got an opt-out after 7 years. So we pretty much have him for his whole prime. And then these options are expensive. But, that's 10 years down the road. That's a problem for 2034. If we even play the sim that long. Like, there's a good chance we don't. There's a good chance I play off camera and just, make a cameo a few seasons down the road. We just don't know. But 10 years away, I don't really care about what the finances look like. At that point, maybe our payrolls at 500 million anyway. But yeah, this is a good. This is kind of like a Jeff McNeil on crack type ratings where he's gonna hit really well. He's gonna play good outfield. When he comes back on his, he's out for 2 to 3 months with a torn PCL in his knee, but on his rehab assignment, we're gonna have him play some left, which this is MLB. It doesn't matter. But KBO, he put up a crazy season at the KBO last year. Um, major. Hmm. I felt like there was a way. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. So at the KBO last season in 2024, he played 134 games, 189 hits, 47 doubles, 20 bombs, more walks than strikeouts, 12 stolen bases. He had 360. So yes, it's the KBO, so these numbers will go down, but he's still like very much worth the contract I gave him. So I'm excited that we're gonna have him. So this he'll help a lot, and that's the hedge against Nimmo and Marte. And I'm not afraid to like squeeze them out and make them the fourth outfielder if necessary, and kind of move them around. So that's pretty much the team. No one else. Taylor Rogers should come back in about 6 weeks. He will be a useful bullpen piece, and then we figure out the crunch later. If I had to guess, based on just looking at these guys, it's probably Peterson going down, but maybe like could even be McGill, could be Morejón, could be any of these dudes. So that's the team. That's the offseason update. Uh, Staffing wise, Buck Showalter retired, so we hired Mr. Carlos Beltran to manage. Uh, he's got average relationships, but I think that was a sound decision because I also don't think Beltran should have been fired in the first place. I think that was fairly cowardly of the Wilpons, to be perfectly honest with you. And who knows? I mean, everything happens for a reason. He's back with the organization anyway. A report just came out that he went down to see Mark Vientos at AAA Syracuse himself, for Billy Epler. But I thought when I hire my managers, I like some level of realism. And so my main two choices were either Beltran or Don Mattingly, actually. And I thought Beltran is somebody I can, if the sim goes on for a very long time, Beltran can be like a career manager for the Mets because this team is poised to win and he's a fan favorite. And, uh, the only reason he got fired was because of the blowback from the Astros cheating scandal, where he was the only player named, by the way, because he wasn't an active player at the time, which is also messed up that he was the scapegoat for that. I know he was a lot of, he was the main ringleader for that scandal, but you can't tell me that most of those players, not all, but most of those players were also complicit in that. But there were a handful of other minor league um, staffers that came up for extension or non-extension, so they got replaced. And I truthfully don't even pay that much attention to the um, minor league coaches after I hire them. So we have a good coaching staff. We're gonna be good this season, and I think we helped mitigate any issues we might have from what we did last year. Last year hurt. I don't know if you could tell from my tone, but it hurt. And we're not projected for very many wins. We're only projected for 83, but the rest of the division not also that great. They don't like the offense, but they do like the pitching staff, which is kind of what happened last year. So I'm not opposed to going to hunt for another bat, especially if Nimmo and Marte and McNeil all kind of struggle again. I'm not opposed to moving off those guys, especially since Marte is an expiring deal. Yeah, we don't have one hitter here and we don't have one pitcher here. Uh, Shane Bieber was also, while we're here, he was also in consideration. Um, this is not a terrible deal. This is a good deal for him, but it was a little longer term than I wanted. So salaries, we are just under 300 million for this year. We're already at 300 for next. But a couple of these guys are up for arbitration. A couple of these guys are have opt outs after this year. So, and most of these deals are movable, right? If necessary, right? Quintana can be moved. Um, Senga could be moved. McNeil can be moved. Crochet, might not come back at 9 million. Peterson might be a little bit more expensive. So we have some wiggle room next year without really sacrificing a whole lot. So that's the team, and we got some cheap guys coming up for next year. These are a lot of minor league or what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, Major league minimum contracts for guys. So, and then Samson Morejon. Morejon's an expiring this season. I forgot about that. Uh, while we're here, what kind of deal do you want? No, I'm not going to do that. No way. No way. So he could be flipped. We'll see how he pitches. So yeah, that's the predictions. What about Verlander? Did he sign? No team. What kind of deal do you want, dude? You're out for 4 to 5 months. Minor league contract with a major league option. What about like a major league contract, like 2 years? And then we'll make this like a vesting option for like 10 for next season. Yeah, what about like that? And then this is a vesting option, and I need like 100 innings out of you. I'll give you like $1 million Cy Young bonus. I'll give you a $10 million Cy Young bonus. So that kind of mitigates the risk also. That could be helpful. Oh, I didn't know that. The potential contract value may not be more than twice as high as the total contract value if it surpasses 2.5%. 1 year major league deal. No, I want some kind of control over next year. No, I want you on 2. I'll even bump that up, and I'll go like I'll go 13, 14 next year as long as it's an option. What about that? Because with the buyout, that still gives you like $5 million guaranteed. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that way, if he's good again, we can bring him back. If he's not good, then we'll figure it out. But that is well worth it for me. Yeah. Cool. All right. So I guess that's the offseason recap. We're gonna get into it. We'll stop at some kind of important date, whatever it ends up being. I don't really have a set rule for it. But yeah, sorry I couldn't post that off-season recap for you all. That one kind of bothered me. I had it was like a 40-minute video too. But here we are. Nothing we can do about it now, and all we can do is move forward. So we're going to try and put the best team forward that we can, and we're gonna hope for the best this season. We're gonna play as well as we can. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.